Snehi, global markets, how are they looking like? What should we be expecting from the Indian markets? Will it be an exciting day on the D Street?
See, Winnie, the global handover has come in quite positively. So let's take a look at what the US market did then. And stock futures inched lower Thursday night as investors shifted focus from the Federal Reserve policy meeting earlier in the week to the next piece of economic data due Friday morning. Now, futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost approximately 0.1%, slipped nominally, and the S&P 500 futures and the Nasdaq 100 futures both also traded down with a marginal downtick. All three of the major indices finished Thursday's session more than 1% higher, marking the sixth straight day of wins for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite. It's the S&P 500's longest winning streak since November 2021, and with just Friday's session left, the three indices are also on track for weekly gains, building on a recent rally across the market. Up nearly 3%, S&P 500 is on a pace to notch its best weekly performance since March. The Nasdaq Composite has gained almost 4% since the start of the week, making it poised for 8th straight winning week. And the tech-heavy index's longest winning streak since a 10-week period that ended in March 2019. The Dow also has gained a relatively modest 1.6% this week, and Friday also marks the final trading day before a long weekend because the markets will be closed on Monday, which is the US markets, in observation of Juneteenth. Let's quickly shift focus to Europe then, and European markets closed slightly lower on Thursday as investors digested the latest monetary policy decision from the European Central Bank. Now, the European Central Bank has raised interest rates by 25 basis points to 4%, so that's an important number coming in. And the Pan-European Stock 600 index provisionally ended down 0.1% marginal downtick there following the ECB announcement. Now, construction and material stocks saw the biggest downturn along with banks, but media stocks were the ones that led the gains in the European markets. But that's what the global handover looked like, fairly mixed, fairly positive. But we need to quickly take us through what crude looked like and what other commodities did.
Absolutely. We'll talk about crude. When you look at crude, overnight we saw a run-up of almost 3% coming in. But this morning, slight bit of a downtick, obviously because the 3% run-up is a huge run-up coming in there. So yes, oil prices have dipped this morning, pausing that sharp rally that we saw overnight. And what led to the rally was, one, let's not forget the demand that is from China showed some signs in some of the data points that came in from China in terms of oil refinery, where the throughput actually increased and rose to 15.4% in the month of May, hitting the second highest total in terms of the record over there that they have as well. And Chinese demand for oil is expected to keep climbing up now. The positive terms and data points coming in from China is keeping the oil prices a bit on the higher side as well. So keeping an eye out on that, as well as obviously what other than that was working out for oil prices was that the weak dollar. That's a big important point as well. Weak dollar worked out well for us in terms of the oil prices, and that is why the surge of 3% to a one-week high. But as of now, yes, given up those gains, trading with a mild bit of a decline in terms of the oil prices, down 1/10% in trade as of now as well. Brent crude oil above that $75 per barrel mark. WTI crude oil above that $70 per barrel mark as well. When you look at gold prices, gold is seeing a bit of an uptick this morning as well. $1,973 per ounce is where the gold is standing at. But also, let's look at what Asia is doing, given that the handover we saw coming in from the US markets. As of now, when you look at Hang Seng, it's trading comfortably with positive cues over there. And Hang Seng, when you look at it, it's up 0.7% in trade. Hang Seng is what we're talking about. Moving on to Shanghai, that's also trading with gains of almost 2/10 to 0.4% in trade. It has been fluctuating in that market, between that mark since this morning. Kospi 2 trading with gains this morning. We're seeing a slight bit of a gain coming in there as well, up 0.2%. ASX 200, that's the Australian index, that's too traded on the positive side. As well as when you look at Nikkei, actually, that's the one which is a bit under pressure because we are waiting out for the Bank of Japan's rate decision. So maybe some pressure is coming in on Nikkei because of that. But other than that, most of them are trading on the positive side. As of now, looking at the SGX Nifty, indicating that 18,802, so about that 18,800 mark for the Nifty is what we are watching out for. Slight bit of a flattish to positive start is what we could expect from the SGX Nifty this morning. Stay.